Hari Om. A small analysis on the devotion of Kuchela or Sudama. Actually, we know that from the Bhagavatam that Kuchela's name was Sudama, and he was a very dear friend to Lord Sri Krishna. Both of them, along with Balrama, they had their education near Sandipa Mahamuni. And not only that, as a child, Sudama, he used to play pranks with Krishna, and they used to enjoy with a lot of fun and laughter. Not only that, Krishna always had a very soft corner towards Sudama, and whatever he did, Krishna enjoyed. It says that one day when the Guru, that means Sandip Mahamuni, he asked them to bring firewood from the forest. In those days, they used to render service to the Gurus. So he asked them to go to the forest and bring firewood. And both of them, they went to Krishna and Sudama. It so happened that there was a lot of heavy rain, and they could not return to the ashram as early as possible due to the heavy rain. So they took shelter on a huge tree. Sudama went to the top branches, and Krishna sat on the lower branches. So it is said that Krishna could hear something, that if he bite anything, a sound will come. And so he asked Sudama what was it. Sudama said, nothing, my teeth were biting because of this heavy rain and chillness. So like that he told 2 or 3 times. But he understood that Sudama was eating something. But in fact, Sudama was really eating something. He was eating some peanuts or other nuts. And he did not give to Krishna. And since Krishna is God, automatically he will be knowing what everyone does. So he just smiled to himself and he kept quiet. So both of them, they grew big, and they parted from the ashram. And Sudama got married, and Krishna went to Dwarka. So for many years they were apart. But all the time Sudama was thinking about Lord Krishna only. So he always recollected the boyhood days and how they spent together, the happy days. And also sometimes he used to chuckle to himself for that, remembering some incidents which he tried to cheat Krishna. So like that the days passed. And in due course of time, Sudama's name was changed to Kuchela. So as we all know, that means he had a lot of family with children and his wife, and he was very open-minded, very frank, and he was not in worldly talk. So he could earn very meager, and with which his family he could not support so well. So one day, so we know this story in fact. One day his wife, she asked him to go to Krishna and just tell him of their poverty, and he would help them. He would give them something. So Sudama, he agreed after a long persistence. And at the time of going to visit the great, wondrous, exquisite personality, She just gave some pounded rice to Sudama, asking him to give him when he goes there. So this all one part. And Sudama actually he was on the way while walking. He was only thinking of Krishna, how he would be, what he would be doing, how he would he whether he would recognize him or no, because it many years passed that they haven't seen each other like that. And finally, he came to Dwarka, where to the palace of the Lord, and he was just about to go inside when the guards stopped him, asking who he was. And he told his name, that he was an old friend of Lord Krishna. But at that time only, Krishna, he just heard this name, and he immediately left everything and he came down the steps to greet his friend. He took his hand, caught hold of his hand, took him inside, washed his feet, saying that he was the Atithi that day. That means Atithi is Swayam Vishnu. So he washed his legs, his feet, and with pious water of the Ganges, and he just sat by his side. He was so overwhelmed with happiness and joy on seeing his old friend. They talked on so many issues, so many matters of their childhood recollections, and they felt very happy. Suddenly, Krishna asked what he brought as a gift, for which Sudama he could not give immediately, because Krishna was in a palace and nothing could be parallel to him compared to his wealth. And he just brought little pounded rice. But Krishna, he opened the knot. He just took one fistful of pounded rice he ate. So he understood. That means on seeing Sudama itself, he understood that Sudama was undergoing utter poverty, and he wanted to do some help. He wanted to give him something. He did not wait till Sudama asked him or told him about his poverty. So that is the greatness of Krishna. So on eating the second fistful, his wife Rukmini, she stopped him not to eat the third fistful of pounded rice. Just very delicately, she just told him to stop eating that pounded rice. She knew what would happen if he ate the third fistful also, because she is also Adilakshmi only. So she is Sri. So here, this is all one part. Here, what we have to understand is, after staying for few days, Sudama he took leave of Krishna, and he just started to go home. Neither he said anything about his poverty, nor he expressed his wish that he wanted some help from Krishna. The reason why he could not ask Krishna is his mind was full of devotion towards him. He experienced the ecstatic moments when he met the Lord, that he forgot why he came there, what his wife said, and what his wife would say if he returned empty handed to the house. What would be the sufferings of him and his children with his wife? So, all these, there were so many questions in his mind. But he could not remember anything. Just his heart was full of joy, that blissful state on seeing the Lord, on experiencing the love of the Lord, and on seeing the beautiful, charismatic face of the Lord. Just he recollected the old days, how they spent together. He just recollected cherished the moments, and the days he moved with Lord Krishna again after so many years. He just filled his heart with all that, with utmost devotion, that he did not even remember or the pathetic situation of his house. So that was the devotion of Sudama. So devotion towards God is not a commodity. In fact, it is something that arises from the heart, and the experience what they get of the devotion, it is something beyond definition. And I think there are no words to describe the devotion, because there are so many, like we take Prabhudas or Tyagaraj or so many other people who actually forgot themselves with the highest devotion they showed towards Lord, because they could only see the Lord and his face, his actions, his leelas, everything which they enjoyed, though they suffered a lot, because that suffering they did not feel. So that is the power of devotion. So devotion is not something that just it will be for one moment or half an hour or 1 hour, and then afterwards we go into the worldly affairs or worldly pleasures. Devotion, in fact, I think it does not allow a person to go to towards run after worldly pleasures, because the Lord Himself is above all these. Once we taste the Lord, how can our eyes turn towards the worldly things, worldly attractions? How can we enjoy the worldly pleasures? When we just sit in front of the Lord and experience His presence, His beauty, His magnanimity, then we feel we are a part of Him, of His creation. And we are so very near to Him that we forget ourselves. We never think of the why we actually offer Him something. So that is devotion. It makes us forget ourselves. On the other hand, what did Krishna do? So let's see the devotion of this Sudama. We saw that he forgot himself. He forgot why he came, his wife sent him. He forgot why he came to the Lord. Everything. He just enjoyed. He just filled his heart with the ecstatic moments, with the blissful moments, and with that same blissful state, he went to the house. He went away. He did never regret also that he forgot to ask Krishna to help him something, to give him something. So let's come to the other side. Now it means he surrendered to the Lord. And the Lord is not like us. When he saw Sudama himself, he could understand the situation. When he opened that knot and saw that pounded rice, he understood the condition of Sudama and his family. So he neither said Sudama, he didn't even express that his friend was in a very poor and drastic condition, and definitely he would help him, he would give him something. So that is the beautiful friendship between them. Because he didn't want to see that Sudama be down. If suppose Lord Krishna says that Sudama, you are undergoing a very pathetic situation, you don't have anything to eat, then how will his friend feel? That means his self-respect will be degraded. So Lord Krishna, he did not want his friend to see that his self-respect be degraded. Oh, so he simply just he ate the pounded rice, and uh, behind that, behind the screen, he gave all the wealth and prosperity to Sudama. So that is a beautiful friendship between them. That is a beautiful self-respect that Sudama and Krishna, Lord Krishna, both of them they share. So he didn't want to insult his friend. He didn't want to see that his friend would make his heart very small. If we insult anybody, if we point out anybody, their heart will become very small. They will be 6 feet. But the heart will be closed. That means it will become so small. So they will lose their dignity. They will lose their self-respect. This Krishna, he did not want Kuchela, that Sudama, to experience. So he just made him enjoy the days when he was with him. He did not utter anything about his poverty, about his life. He did not ask him also, because he already knew what was his life. But he just in his mind, he thought he would help him. He should help him, being a friend. So he just gave him everything, which Sudama did not know. Only after going to his house, he saw all those, and then once again he just bowed his head. So he surrendered to the Lord. So that is what an ecstatic and blissful situation, in fact. So that is a friendship, isn't it? So that's why when we come to friendship, we definitely think of the friendship of Sudama and Krishna. So if we can be like that in friendship, if we can treat a friend like that, so without their asking, if we can give, what a beautiful moments those will be. What a blissful moments, really, because to give is so happy, to give is so peaceful, to give is so pleasant. And in the name of God, without their asking. If they ask and we don't give, really it will be an insult for them. So without their asking, if we can know the condition, if we can give them, we can help them to the least, let us say. So how happy it would be. So in fact, we get a place in their heart. That would be lifelong. They cherish, and we also cherish the moments, because so it is twice blessed, in fact, isn't it? So it's a very beautiful friendship between Krishna and Sudama, and the devotion that Sudama had towards Lord Krishna is not an ordinary thing. So it is not a commodity which can be bought in the market. It is something that the heart and soul experiences. The soul belongs to the soul. So Krishna is the Lord, and Sudama is Atma. So he just felt himself that he is very near to his God, and he just experienced the beauty of the soul. So what richness, no? So giving is richness of the soul, in fact. Giving is not something with the hand, it is the richness of the soul. When we experience the joy in giving, we really feel like giving. So that is not a sacrifice. That just giving for giving's sake. Just enjoying the pleasure of giving. Just without even thinking twice why we should give. So that's what Krishna did. That's what he proved. That's what the friendship of Sudama and Krishna, he proved that. So friendship is such a beautiful connection between the God and the soul, between two souls, two beautiful souls, which experience the same wavelength and frequency. So both of them, they enjoyed. Both of them felt the joy. Both of them cherished the moments of their childhood, and the moments when they again met after so many years. So beautiful one. So let us develop the devotion of this Sudama towards the Lord, for us to be so peaceful, so happy, so blissful, and surrender at his feet, looking at him, and enjoying the state of happiness which is totally it captivates and captures our heart and soul. Hari Om.